What's up, guys? Nick from Hybrid Physiques here, making a response to Dave Palumbo and RX Muscle, the Iron Debate, Battle of the Bodybuilding Eras. We have Luke Sandoe, we have Fuad, we have Lee Priest, as well as Dave Palumbo back and forth. I find it a little humorous and a little interesting in the comments that were made by the representatives of today's bodybuilding, that being Fuad and Luke Sandoe. I'm going to play one clip, and then I'll go ahead and give you a little response to it.
Separate the amateurs and just keep it a pros only. How do you assess the ability or willingness to suffer as compared to the 90s era?
I don't know. I don't know what you guys mean by suffer. I mean, are you guys talking about doing 50 grams of carbs a day for 8 weeks and 2 hours of cardio? I've been there. I mean, I don't know anybody, any other pros who haven't been there or haven't done that. I think if I had to point to something, and this could be wrong, and I'm interested to see what you guys think, but the guys now are bigger, okay? And I think it's harder for us to nail our conditioning the way they did in the 90s. In the 90s, I feel like the physiques were big, but they were more streamlined, and it was okay to come in a little flat. If you came in a little flat, you still look great. Whereas now, if you come in flat, you look like the outlier. You're like, why is that guy so stringy?
So just to recap, Fuad, I guess, is a little confused. I don't want to say confused. He's trying to find common ground on what the understanding of suffering is. And I'll go ahead and recap that for you. That is being on low food, that is being tired and miserable, and doing cardio for 2 to 3 hours, exactly as he said. However, there's one contingency. Walking on a treadmill, and an incline treadmill at a slow pace, that's not suffering. That's just doing regular cardio, hanging out, feeling bad for yourself. Suffering is busting your butt, doing cardio at a higher pace, and literally suffering, just thinking about your next meal, just dying. Fuad is also saying that, or he's not really saying, he's trying to get an opinion on it, which, you know, the entire time it's really Fuad and Luke Sandoe on their heels, basically trying to justify why their conditioning is not as good. Ultimately, that's what I got out of this interview. But he was saying it's harder for the bigger guy to come in better condition. For me, that doesn't make any sense to me. If you're 285 pounds of lean tissue, every step you take, you would be burning, say, 10 calories. A gentleman who's 200 pounds, every step they take would be burning, say, 7 calories. In terms of calories in, calories out, it's much easier for the bigger man to burn the calories. It is. It's much easier. The smaller guy has to work harder to burn those calories and be on a lower caloric deficit or do more cardio. As we come up to this next clip, this is a quick recap, and then I'll respond.
In the 90s, did everybody do a lot of the same type of diet, or was there a lot of different variety?
When I did, well, I can only speak for myself. Well, when I saw Paul's, I know Paul with Chad, he was a lot less cardio, more supplement side and stuff like that. Because I go to do cardio in the morning, he'd be laying in bed, sleep, going, I'm not going, son, and this. But, you know, I'd always, the lowest I ever went on carbs myself was 250 grams a day. But I was doing 2 to 3 hours of cardio a day. You know, I was probably around the 4,500 calorie a day mark. But because I had the time, I'd rather do more cardio and eat more food.
There has to be something missing, because what Lee just described for his diet, that's my off-season diet. Like, to me, that's not suffering. Like, that seems, if somebody said to me, you can eat 4,500 calories and get ready for a show, I would laugh. Like, I got down. The last show I won, I was eating 2,100 calories a day, like at 275 pounds. Like, this is, so it's not that we're not suffering. There's something else that has to be there, because I don't know how Lee could eat that much food. Maybe it's the drugs. Maybe back then they had pharmacy drugs and they were better, and who knows, maybe that's why. But I know a lot of guys eating a lot less food than that, suffering a lot more, and they're still not getting in the condition that you guys are talking about.
So I have a couple comments on this section. It's a little humorous to me because as a professional, you often get questions from amateurs. You often get questions from national competitors. You know, what's the secret? What's the secret? What's the secret drug? What's the secret food item? There is no secret. It's just hard work and intense workouts and putting the time in during cardio. Now, you hear this repeated consistently among modern day bodybuilders. There's no secret. Fuad here comes off as that amateur basically saying, oh, there's got to be something else. There's got to be a secret. Because that's not suffering, as he's saying. You know, I was dieting on 2,500 calories. Did it cross anyone's mind what that workout consisted of, the duration of the workout, and the intensity of the cardio? A, B equals C. There's no secrets. The 90s era bodybuilders, most likely in my opinion, were doing more intense workouts, more frequency of workouts, and longer and harder, significantly harder cardio sessions. If you're doing 2 hours of cardio, you may burn the same amount of calories as someone doing an hour or an hour and a half, because that person doing an hour and a half is doing it that much more intense than you are. He may not be walking on an incline. He may be lightly jogging on an incline and burning those calories. So I got a kick out of that. And the overall opinion on my end, the 90s bodybuilders definitely had better conditioning. I also think this comes into play from a previous video of mine. I think the human growth hormone levels have something to do with that. I think the epidermis or the skin is growing thicker, therefore blurring the lines of these bodybuilders. So again, that's my opinion. I think the 90 eras bodybuilders had better conditioning than the modern day bodybuilders. I don't think there's any comparison, matter of fact, between muscle quality, density. I think insulin, I think HGH, I think they're ruining the sport. And I just got a kick out of this interview because I just hear two of the modern guys who never really have nailed their conditioning. Not even never really. They've never nailed their conditioning out of a relatively decent length career so far. And they're just making excuses. It's harder for the big guys. It's the cameras. Stop with the excuses. Work harder. Get in shape. Show up a little stringy. It's better than looking blurred and sloppy. And see the result on that. That is my video for today. Please smash that like button. Please subscribe. I'd love to see the comments in the comment section below. And that is Hybrid Physiques out.